Pusate, chitarra e tamburo, perché sta musica s'attacagna. Simmo brigante, facimmo paura, e che scoppetta volimmo cantare. E che scoppetta volimmo cantare. E mo cantammo una nuova canzone, tutta la gente se la tamparà. Noi combattimmo per re Borbone, la terra nostra non sa da toccare, la terra nostra non sa da toccare. Tutti i paesi rabbasa la casa, la società e donna lottata, pure Calabria ma si è arrabutata. E sto nemico facimmo dramma, e sto nemico facimmo dramma. Chi ha visto lupo e si è mise paura, non sapeva buona qual è la verità. Povero lupo che mangia creature, e o piemontese che vimmo cacciare. E o piemontese che vimmo cacciare. Femmina bella carate del cuore, si lubricante volete salvare. Non cercate scordate per nome, diceva guerra non tiene pietà, diceva guerra non tiene pietà. C'è brigante se muore, ma fino all'urda ma mimma sparà. E si morimmo manata non sciore, è una preghiera per sta libertà, è una preghiera per sta libertà. Se nasce brigante se muore, ma fino all'urda ma mimma sparà. E si morimmo manata non sciore, è una preghiera per sta libertà. Se nasce brigante se muore, ma fino all'urda ma mimma sparà. E si morimmo manata non sciore, è una preghiera per sta libertà, è una preghiera per sta libertà.
Hi. Hello. Nice to see you. I hope we're working all right. Why is my screen flat? Good question. I'm gonna get to that. More in a minute. Hello everyone. I hope everything is stellar in terms of sound levels and all that nonsense. I hope you don't have any like background noise or anything like that. We're going to start with some reading, as usual. In The Science of Logic, Hegel states that the activity of thought, which is at work in all our ideas, purposes, interests, and actions, is unconsciously busy, bewusstlos geschäftig. Natural logic, its basis is the soul itself. The following surreal, macabre, almost unintelligible passage from Hegel's Realphilosophie manuscript of 1805-6 reflects his deep immersion in the realm of the unconscious. The human being is this night, this empty nothing that contains everything in its simplicity, an unending wealth of many presentations, images of which none happens to occur to him, or which are not present. This night, the inner of nature that exists here, pure self, in phantasmagorical presentations, is night all around it. Here shoots a bloody head, there another white shape, suddenly here before it, and just so disappears. One catches sight of this night when one looks human beings in the eye, into a night that becomes awful. It suspends the night of the world here in an opposition. In this night, being has returned. Hegel holds the traditional Hermetic conception of Philosophia Perennis. All previous systems of thought, religious, mythological, philosophical, aim at and partially unveil the same doctrine. Speculative philosophy is the final, fully adequate, and fully conscious form of the Philosophia Perennis, which can only be accomplished in modern times. In a fragment preserved by Rosenkranz, Hegel writes, "From the true knowledge of the principle of all philosophy, there will arise the conviction that at all times there has been only one and the same philosophy. So not only am I promising nothing new here, but rather am I devoting my philosophical efforts precisely to the restoration of the oldest of old things, and on liberating it from the misunderstanding in which the recent times of unphilosophy have buried it." It's pretty good stuff. That's Hegel, I hope you can see that, Hegel and the Hermetic Tradition by Glenn Alexander McGee. Actually, I borrowed this book from Loftar, so credit to him. It's a fairly interesting read. Covers a couple of my favorite subjects in the world, namely Western esotericism, or esotericism, and Western magic. But also in relation to the kind of heretical passage from Hegel that we just read. So can definitely recommend that book. Written again, Glenn Alexander McGee. It's Hegel and the Hermetic Tradition. Also interesting in that it covers the I'm not particularly interested in Hegel himself, but I am interested in the history of philosophy, and in that context, it's pretty nice to read it. So you may wonder why my screen is squished, and that is my poor attempt at setting the aspect ratio of the video to the Twitch YouTube preferred 16:9. Unfortunately, I'm using a screen which has a native preferred resolution of 4:3. So the kind of unfortunate compromise that we find, just buy a new monitor, Precursor asks or says. But the thing is, and here I could make a point, that I kind of like and prefer the older aspect ratio, more 4:3-ish, than the widescreen. That seems to be consumer standard with most consumer-grade monitors that you buy these days. And I have been asking myself why that actually is. Like, why do people so vastly prefer widescreen? Who knows? It's one of the mysteries of life. So a lot of people dancing in Valhalla here, where I'm sitting. So again, I'm one half of the dynamic developer duo behind Haven and Hearth, which is the game that we will be streaming and playing tonight. And let's get to it. I was reading through the I was reading through the announcement thread where I announced that I would be doing the live stream tonight, and there were a couple of different ideas as to what we should be doing tonight. One of the more prevalent ideas was a Jorb art stream where I show you how I draw something and show you how I make lit, thick content for Haven and Hearth, and that's certainly one idea. We might do that sometime. But the other idea that was kind of shopped about in the thread was to simply continue where we were last time, or try to show a bit more of a developed settlement, perhaps. So that is what we're going to try to do. Blaze Knight 26 asks, do you remember Blazord? How could I forget Blazord? Hej på det också. So so yeah, we're gonna log out from that dorky character, and we're gonna go straight back to Romban Bomban Bump, which was the character we played last time, if you remember. I actually I logged on a couple of and played for like an hour or so earlier today, so I've gotten us out of the like immediate pickle that we were in when we left off last time. And as you may have remembered, we were in pretty deep shit. We'd taken a bunch of wounds. We were really down low on our health. When I logged back in, I found out that I had hide minimap. I don't think it matters. I think you guys know where I am. Here I am. I'm right here. So you can come visit me, but I will defend myself if you try to be mean to me. And I also do not guarantee anyone's safety while coming to visit me. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I got myself out of the worst of the pickle that we were in. We didn't have any wounds left, so those at least healed in the odd month or so since the last stream. This stream was really a last-minute thing. I'd kind of almost forgotten that I'd promised to do a stream for February, and February was about to run out, so I decided that, hey, if we want to do this, we got to do this. And really not 100% fit. My throat is a bit thick, and I've been having a bit of a cold, but me being who I am, energy levels always at 120% operating capacity, no brakes on the train, decided to just, go and do it. So what we're going to do today is, I found, this is not far from where we left off last time, where we were knocked out, and basically I found this abandoned settlement. It has some cool things going for it, and I think we're just gonna reclaim it. And we're gonna try to build something here. And one of the things that we have going for us here, which we perhaps wouldn't have normally, is that we have a bunch of, I wouldn't say high quality trees, but at least trees that aren't Q10, so it's Q40-ish trees, 30-40 quality range here. Yeah. Also, second point that I would like to mention is that over, where was it? There it is. Over here we have a mine hole. So that's a start, right? Alright, we probably can't get out here. Annoying. Oh well, we'll have to build a battering ram if we want to get out here. Or maybe, just maybe, use our dev powers to just delete some stuff. Could do that. I have, kind of made the rule for myself already that I will cheat a little bit tonight if I think that, makes us advance faster in any meaningful way. So first things first, I think we're going to head out into the woods and do some foraging. This place was a nice find, by the way. It really helped me find some, there were some beetroots growing here, and I've replanted those, and there were also some carrots here. So those helped me get back into the healing range with my energy. That's otherwise a problem. Azrid Rose Online asks, when is New Dungeon? New Dungeon is when New Dungeon is ready. Can't tell you much more than that. Really, combat is our main focus development-wise right now. So I think immediate priorities for our little dork here is that I want to go fishing a little bit, and I want to find some... I want to find some strings, or rather some nettles, so that I can make some nettle clothing. And but one thing that we're going to do first is I noticed that there was some barley growing here. So we're going to harvest the barley and make ourselves a straw doll, because I hear that straw dolls are the good curiosity. Oh wait, do I need plant fiber for straw dolls? No, I don't, right? I just need string, right? Yep, just need string. Knew that all along. Replant some barley. Let's see. A concerned Hearthling asks, how much percentage progress on combat? We've, I don't know, hard to put a percentage on it. Maybe 50. Like, we've gone through most of the attacks and kind of converted them to the new system. So, and Avros 008 says, make the new combat system simple, please. This Yu-Gi-Oh shit is impossible to learn and get fun. Maybe that you're a little bit stupid, but kidding. But I don't think it's that hard to learn. That being said, I also think that the new system is going to be somewhat simpler. So I do love the. Yeah, right. So I think you're going to get what you want there. Anyway, okay, so we have our straw doll going on. Fun thing, fun story, true story. We looked at some of the top curios, the most studied garbage in the game, and straw dolls. I'm telling you, man, it's where it's at. I assume it's because the quality of your crops by now, us being in a developed world, I assume the quality of your crops is quite bonkers by now. Do let me know, by the way, in the chat if you want to inform me as to how high your crops are presently. How high is the water, mama? 4 feet high and rising. We could do a straw hat. Here we have a question. Let's do a straw hat. Flax over 800, jeez. Shit is crazy. 700 plus water, oh, wow. Why are Ardennes TV asks, why are golden teeth cheaper, better than silver roses as a curio? Are they? I don't know. Shouldn't gold be better than silver? These are the questions. So people in the chat are saying they have at least 500 plus, 450. Talkmix asks, what is the biggest issue while reworking the combat system? Honestly, the sheer size of it. There are so many attacks, and I mean, not that there are that many, but there are 30, 40 attacks. And especially if you try to do something meaningful with it, with the last couple of attacks, we basically just, smashed them in there and just made some changes to them, hoping anything sticks. Because one thing that we find, and I've been complaining about this plenty before, is that it's impossible to test. We add one new attack and then suddenly everything changes, and so we add 2 new attacks, make two testing sequences, but forget to vary our character statistics in the meanwhile, and how meaningful are these tests, blah 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 blah. So many variables that go into it, and really hard to tell if you're doing anything meaningful. Yeah. And Forg, will you ever show how to edit or create textures for the game so the community of texture artists could edit models and textures? Certainly. I don't think the main problem here lies with me. I think there is in the Wizard's Tower, I believe that you have a resource extraction tool. I'm not sure if that is up to speed still, but you should be able to just basically get the Ogre XML format for the meshes, and if you have that, you can certainly do an import, I would presume, into a 3D editing program of your choice. I obviously prefer Blender, and you should be able to edit them and do whatever you like to them, and then getting them back into the game, that could be a problem for a resource maker of a programmer of your choice. But I think you may need some programming assistance with that. I'm not sure what the available tools are at the moment, actually. Mr. Softner asks, cutout face standees. Captain Morgan says, why would anyone want to change Jorb's wonderful graphics? And I think that's the real question. Why are we even discussing this? How could you hope to improve on divine perfection? Kidding. Asrid Rose Online, will Silver get a new curio anytime soon? Because it should. Were you Ardance TV? Yeah, plenty of people complaining about silver roses tonight. Apparently it's the complaint du jour for the live stream tonight. So yeah, it was really a last minute thing, the stream. But I'm actually kind of excited. I hope we can continue building on this. Wait. I can't go fishing with this. I need something to fish with. What's easy to get, like maybe earthworms? Or Grumpy One asks, will there be a new client rendering sneak peek? I'm not sure there's much to sneak peek. Right now it's not even rendering anything at all from the 3D view. It's basically only rendering the 2D user interfaces, Loftar tells me. Question. Kenshi Roke, will cupboards barriers ever get respectable board colors like study desk and etc.? Yes, when the client rendering rewrite is done and allows for such wondrous things, then we will do that. The reason we haven't acted on it is mainly reasons of prestanda. Like, we're kind of a bit, like, ideally all wooden items or objects in the game should use variable materials. For those of you who haven't the faintest clue as to what I'm talking about, some of the objects that you can build in the game, and you can build quite a few, can be set to use a custom material determined by the type of wood that you use to build it. And the question here was, but not all objects have this functionality, and the reason for that being what I just told you. Caught a rabbit right there. Entrails, we can use those for fishing. That's great. I even have some since earlier. Some frogs here. So yeah, we settled near this swamp here, an abandoned settlement. I think the swamp is going to be pretty key to our future success. Some okay-ish frogs here. One of the things that I've been kind of bothered by lately in my own playing is how retarded and I don't mean that in the sense of stupid, but just simply left behind, the foraging qualities are compared to the natural qualities of the stuff that you yourself have made, and that has kind of bothered me. And it would be great, I think, if foraging had some way to keep up quality-wise later in the game, so that it wasn't only a matter of using, you know, yeah, we got ourselves a lady's mantle here, which is a curiosity that we can study. Just throw them on. And yeah, Flyrella suggests get some leeches for fishing. Not a bad idea, Flyrella. We should get some leeches. We already have one. We should pick up a couple more. I will drop off this nonsense and then go get some more shit to fish with. No one actually wants variable material cupboards, says Childhood Obesity. Why not? Wouldn't that make it? Isn't one of the perennial complaints about the cupboards how hard they are to differentiate and kind of sort and whatnot? I know you want signs on them, but and maybe we could do that someday. Signs on everything, infinite capacity. I'm well aware, Jordan Coles, that you cannot fish with unbloated. That you cannot fish until they're bloated. Norster 126 asks where is your D helm, my dragon helm, the one I dumped that at the end of last stream actually. Minohita asks, do you think to add aggressive mobs to the swamps like crocodiles or something like that? Yeah, I definitely would like to do that. I think the swamps are much too tame. Oh, and while we're on the subject of cupboards, I have been thinking lately that aren't cupboards a bit cheap? Wouldn't a piece of bone glue kind of adjust the price more in the direction of a better, more fair, more equitable price for cupboards? throwing some bait to the to the chat there. Everyone's like, no. Just some bone glue, maybe some hardened leather, a rope. I'm sure we can strike a fair bargain somewhere. Let's see. Let's roast this rabbit right on up. Get some nice experience there. Well, we have broken bones injuries, asks Sanix. Yeah, we should really, one of the things that we really should do is kind of go through the wounds lists and maybe, add more wounds and differentiate them a bit more. Right now there are only like 2 or 3 wounds lists. Like the ants have one which is specific to them, and then there's like the melee one and the sharp weapon one. And obviously animals with sharp teeth use the sharp weapon wounds list, and meaning they get, give like blade kissed wounds and nonsense like that. And arguably hearthlings should have their own wound list so that they can do nasty wounds in PvP and whatnot. Frost H&H asks, what's your thoughts on the Aurora siege? Did you watch? What do you think of the outcome? Frost H&H, we watched it. Both Loftar and I watched it. We followed it, fairly, I wouldn't say exhaustively. We weren't there when the walls fell, for example, but we followed it. And I'm not sure what to think of it. I mean, there was, effort exerted on the part of the attacker, I would say. There were at least 20, 30 people there, bringing the materials for the catapults, etc., etc. There was no pushback. I have no, moral opinion on that, but there were probably times during the siege when, the defenders could have perhaps sallied forth and attempted a concerted pushback against the attackers. So, all in all, I'm not sure what to think. I'm not, I haven't necessarily gotten any firm opinions on it, but from my perspective, it looked kind of fair. It looked more fair than I would have expected it to, frankly. And, then, another question is, should it be possible to raise a village which has, months and months of investment behind it? Should it be possible to salt the earth entirely with that village, in a matter of 48 hours or whatever? And I'm tempted to say no, but I'm also not entirely sure how we find a disposition where a breach in the wall doesn't automatically imply, the salting of the earth of the entire base. So that, I think, is a kind of difficult conundrum. Intentional LoL player asks, did you intervene in the siege? Nope, hands off. Didn't do anything. Only watched. Talkmix asks, are you going to make cave slime a resource that can be stored in barrels and buckets similar to cave dust? Please? That's actually a great idea, man. It's actually a great idea. Let's... this is the grand old document here. We're not even going to write that down in the stream notepad. We're going to put that down in the main one. Cave slime as fluid. We should definitely do that. That was a great idea. Small Timer says, I love H&H so much. Thank you so much, Jorb. Stay best. Thank you. I will do my best. Childhood Obesity. Yeah, right. I bet you were making their catapults max range and ours minimum 10,000%. Definitely. Nope. Not. Let's see. Entforg asks, will you fix forever delaying realm cairns and objects? Are you talking about the fact that you can delay realm challenges indefinitely? Because we should probably look at that too, if that is still a thing. I thought we had prevented that somehow. Field Honor. Will we see some new animal that is way stronger than bears and other similar and also weaker than mammoths, level 5 trolls? Would love to. Would not mind, some intermediate steps between mammoth and bear. Not sure what that should be, but we could certainly consider things like, I don't know, woolly rhinoceros. Wouldn't be opposed to that. Cave lion, maybe. Definitely some options there. Could consider wolf, of course. Wolf, duh. But wolf, I feel... Wolf, I'm thinking wolves, individually should be about on par with bears. And I think the real danger should be, from the fact that they are pack animals. Uses for mammoth hide. Yeah, that's a good one. You probably do need uses for mammoth hide. I have already made a note to fix some mammoth-specific gear. Can we fish from swamps? Asks Mr. Softener. No, you cannot. Uncle Ish asks, which text you think is most influenced to your own personal philosophy? Without sounding edgy about it, I think Julius Evola has really had a profound impact on my way of thinking. I'll probably read you some Evola at some point. He's really good. Other than that, I think, the Bible is certainly up there. Could you add animation when fighting with axe? Asks Putta the Man the Myth. There should be unique combat animations. I just haven't really gotten to it. There's always a ton of things that you could be focusing on at any given time. So let's see now. Do we have the nonsense we need to make the fishing gear that we wanted to make earlier? Let's see, here we are. We still miss or lack a piece of string. We could probably make some string from this hay, right? Yeah, we can. Craft. There we go. Sewing and fabric. Straw twine. There we go. Longest fishing prep to 2018. God damn it, Coles. I can only return to the point I made last time about it being somewhat difficult to multitask, reading the chat, playing the game, answering questions, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's just my autism peeking through, but them's the beats in that case. Actually, when I played earlier today, I noticed that, I had a crate, like this one right here, decay almost instantly on me. And I asked myself whether that was somehow a consequence of the new decay system that we have added. It didn't strike me as a particularly convincing effect. Arguably, things that you've recently built should have some sort of initial protection from decay. I think that would be a good change to make. Say, a concerned Hearthling, can you reveal a bit about what the new combat system will address to fix or make more fun? There will be only one opening. You will have, the individual attacks will have individual cooldowns. So you will have a cooldown per attack. Not all attacks will have that functionality, but many will, which means that there will be an intrinsic reason to activate more than one attack, which makes, you know, sequencing a bit more of a thing, a bit more important. How can straw twine not be fishing line? That is a scandal right there. That is a scandal. Straw twine fishing line. There's a scandal right there. Outrageous. Yeah, so off the top of my head, those would be the two things that I would mention. Would you consider implementing more artifacts for unarmed combat? I could certainly consider that. Not at all opposed to considering. Any ideas for new instruments, asks Small Timer. Yes, definitely. Actually, this is Shubla's idea. Shubla he mentioned Väinämöinen from the Kalevala, which is the Finnish kind of grand epic. It's obviously a product of 19th century Romanticism, but nevertheless, Väinämöinen himself is, at least, you know, so the story goes, derived from, you know, Finnish folklore and legend and mythology, and he plays an instrument that he has made from the yaw of the great pike, which is a kantele that he makes. So that is something that I've been meaning to add. Also a piano would be nice. Definitely. Jorb, I have an amazing Volvo 940 wagon. Did you saw some drifts around your town with them? Some drifts. Have I seen someone drifting around my town in a Volvo 940 wagon? No. No. Will range ever get fixed? Nerfed so hard it's useless and really depressing for range lowers. I would like it if we could fix it. I would like it if we could find a spot for it where it's not either entirely overpowered or, nor for that matter, entirely underpowered. Range is still good for hunting, to be honest, says Jordan Coles. But Jordan Coles, doesn't it also destroy your quality completely? Let's see now. We need to make a bone hook. And we need to pick all the cattails. There we go, made a bone hook, so we equip the bone hook to the fishing rod, and then we equip the entrails, and then we equip the fishing rod. And then we go fish. But there is no fish here. It occurs to me. I see no jumping fish. We can't fish here. So we're going to go jump in the boat, assuming the boat is still left. I dare you to take Aurochs hair, says Ken Shiragabe. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to take an Aurochs hair and probably get knocked out cold. Got it. Got it. As far as I know, if you use arrows and blah blah blah. Mad lad, that's me, the mad lad. Nirvar Diz ZN asks, I'm sure that was asked before, but is there any hope we would see crossbow in game? Definitely. I would definitely love adding a crossbow. It's just that adding more ranged weapon has felt only so meaningful when ranged has been in kind of the sorry state that it has been in for some time. Haven't really known where to take ranged combat at all, so kind of haven't made much of a priority of it. But, you know, crossbows would certainly be cool. Not sure. Small Timer asks, how often do you reset the world? Once every year? Historically, that's been true. Right now, we're not in any rush to reset. Things have been going relatively well. The store's been selling relatively well. We've had, you know, relatively high player numbers, and, you know, our patches have been at least somewhat appreciated, I've felt, and so not in any rush there. And would frankly rather, you know, make sure that we, if and when we do a reset, that we do it properly and do it for the right reasons, and you know, have a significant amount of new content and nonsense and fixes in there, so as to make that a really big thing. Because if and when we do make a reset, I would like to. There's tons of things I'd like to do in that case. I'd like to make a new trailer and, you know, try to really push that in that case. So it's not something that we're going to rush into. Ike Dragon asks, is there a specific reason why mallards and swans don't float when killed on water? I've actually made a note to have a bit of a look at that, because one thing I like about the fact that swans and mallards drop into the water, i.e. not float, is that makes them harder to catch, right? You know, you can't shoot them with an arrow, for example. Another thing that, you know, another angle, I suppose, that I have on it is that it could be nice if you could shoot them with an arrow. It could be nice if you could, you know, bow hunt mallards and swans. You know, not at all opposed to this. So I have considered, as a compromise, giving them a short float time so that they float on the water when you kill them for a little while, but perhaps not, you know, indefinitely. Mr. Softner asks, anything you can tell us about next world generation? Not really. I kind of want to steer clear of the subject. I don't want to talk too much about that. It's not where we're at. That's not what we're working on, so it's not like it's changed majorly since last time we did it. S. Martinez asks, puppies for wild animals, what do you think? The stuff, like, I would actually, you know, puppies would be nice. I mean, especially for some animals. I think, for example, a bear cub could be a scaled-down version of a bear, which could be slightly less, perhaps, you know, dangerous and aggressive, and, you know, our little dude's just fishing, so we'll answer some questions while we pull up all the yank from all the oceans. So for some animals, I could definitely see cubs or puppies or whatever make total sense. I wouldn't want to institutionalize it to the point where every new animal we add has to have a, you know, a female, a male, and a, you know, a young version, because that is going to increase the amount of work required per wild animal type that we want to add. My fishing hook broke. Well, isn't that a tragedy? We're going to have to skin and flay and kill the rabbit. Many questions now. Would you consider, asks Poisoned Pork Chop, would you consider a complex instrument such as a piano that allows multiple keys to be pressed at once? Considering is cheap. I can certainly consider that. I'm aware that there are several issues with how the instruments make sounds, and that aren't corresponding to how they work in real life, and blah blah blah. And we've had to make some compromises in order to stick with a simple instrument model. That being said, sky's the limit to what you could do with it if you had infinite time and whatever. It's just that while instruments are cute and all, they're not particularly gameplay relevant, and that they don't really change much. They're just for funsies, so kind of feel that there's somewhat of a limit as to how much time we can spend on silly instruments. Asrid Rose Online asks, will fishing ever be good? I hope so. We have been talking a fair amount about it lately, so why did I stop fishing? I just randomly stopped fishing for no reason. Okay. Weird. Was I answering your question? Well, yeah, will fishing ever be good? Yes. So we've been talking about fishing in several ways. We want to effectively nerf bait fishing and improve on lure fishing to make lure fishing the kind of more go-to default option for if you're searching for like anything but the common basic base type fishes. So that's one thing we want to do. We also, fishing has the same problem as foraging in that it gets retarded quality-wise as the world develops. It lags behind. I think there should be some sort of mechanic to change that, whether that is mixing in some of the quality from the fishing gear that you use into the fish is one option we've considered. It's a bit ugly, but certainly something we could consider. So making the quality scale better with the age of the world I think is one worthy cause for fishing. And I also think obviously more recipes and also some way to like pickle or do something like that with fish to create more dry, cured somehow more refined fish products. I think could be also a worthy cause. We talked just the other day about we could take the existing cheese racks that are in the game for curing of cheese and make them into more generic curing racks, and kind of try to go for the dip smoked salmon, says Alec, and that smoking could certainly be an option for fishes as well. And we have quite powerful systems in the food buff system that you can use. We have a system where you can craft something from a generic type of meat, and it will receive a bonus depending on what type of meat you actually used. So you can make a meat pie from adder or oryx or boar or whatever, and your outcome will vary depending on what input you used. And so we have powerful systems for that we could kind of leverage in the whole pickling, smoking, blah 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 nonsense, and that we could just one thing, for example, that we could do with smoking is that we could give, if we really wanted to go full retard, we could give each individual tree could have its own food buff that it could apply to the meat that you smoke. You could somehow combine with the meat's intrinsic food buff, and magic would happen. That's something that we could do with smoking and also curing and blah blah blah. I have Mopsy Pacey asks, Jorb, my brother asks your favorite game, Zelda, Shenmue, maybe. I've not played Shenmue. I'm not even sure what that game is. I've not played that. But Zelda is definitely one of my favorite games. I'm playing a fair bit of the new Zelda game. And by that I mean, what's it called? Call of the Wild, Breath of the Wild, Wild Boys, Wild Rover, something about wilderness. Playing that a fair bit and enjoying it, actually. One thing I don't like about the new Zelda game is you receive weapons as a reward for almost every little shrine you clear. But the weapons almost always suck. Like they're basically toothpicks. They break instantly when you use them, and so you never feel particularly rewarded. Oh, here's a nice, cool, shining sword, and it's like, I don't want to use it because it's just going to break if I use it. So that's kind of one of the things that bothered me a little bit. But I like the freeform exploring nature of the game. That's always been one of the main reasons why I play that type of game at all. So and this latest iteration of Zelda has been really, really freeform. So love that. Zunzun asks, have you ever played Factorio? No, but I've seen several screenshots. It looks really cool. I have not played it, but it looks very cool. So I probably should play it. It's just that, um, you know, technically I do this for some sort of living. So, you know, when I've been at work all day building Haven, I kind of don't also want to relax by playing a computer game a lot of the time. So since I started developing games in a professional capacity, my inclination to play games in my private time has certainly dropped significantly, which is a shame because computer games are a lot of fun. If I miss your questions while I focus on the glorious building of another drying frame here, feel free to ask again. Perhaps I shall be inclined to answer them. Intentional multiplayer. Want to do something about the Vapentreu being trash? Is the Vapentreu trash? Why? Because you can slot the other things? Or I don't understand why the Treu is trash. The Vapentreu is one of the few shirt items that has armor. So, a concerned Hearthling asks, did you guys collect statistics about food being eaten? Yes, we do collect such statistics. It's really the problem is not so much in collecting them as to do something meaningful with the statistics, to kind of extract meaningful information from the data. That's really been because a lot of the things that we look at are kind of incommensurable in terms of That being said, there are plenty of obvious problems with food and eating that we are well aware of, and that aren't particularly complicated at all, such as the insane buffs to hunger and whatnot that you can accrue. Blah blah blah. So, Nirvar DZN asks, how about adding fishing nets, stationary nets, or throwable with user ropes? Would love that. I've actually made a note of it. There was a suggestion on the Critique and Ideas part of the forums very recently. Yeah, would love that actually. And in reply to that thread in Critique and Ideas forum, I replied that maybe it was time to finally go for it. So I made a note of that in little notepad document that you saw earlier. Let's get a cone cow going. So obviously one of the key features of the game is that you need to keep studying as much nonsense as you can. Ooh, actually, did we not have a ladybug? To get more of them learning points that you can use to buy nonsense. You should really use the word nonsense less. It's one of the things that occurred to me when I watched the video of the previous stream that I did, was that I used the word nonsense a whole lot too much. So I'm going to try to cut down on that. Boom! Is fishing ever going to be good? Fishing is never as good as it is when you're a wee little nab gorging yourself on terrible food. How do we get our intelligence up? By eating Xander and Silverbeam. Boom. And now I should be able to eat to study. I haven't. Am I high? There it is. Boom. Studying cocoa. Let's see, questions. Waffle Cat asks, how's the progress on object-controlled objects? We haven't even begun working on that because the client rendering rewrite is our main, or rather Loftar's main project. So that's what needs to get done first before we can get on with that. What was said here? It's better to gild something for 200 combat skills than have small amount of extra armor from Vapentröja. I could potentially buy that, but why do people then use the dragon helm? That has been my question. Because why wouldn't you use a slottable hat, for example, if armor is so not good? Donotakas 1994 asks why we can't study more than one of the same curio. Because that would probably lead to you just simply filling up your entire study report with only one type of curio, is my guess. Uncle Ish asks, what is approximate percentage progress of render rewrite? 75% maybe. Again, hard to quantify. You would have to ask Loftar. Really, it's on his table, not mine. But I at least gather that he has converted everything except the actual 3D rendering, so that's progress. People use Trollhelm. Sure, people use Trollhelm. My bad. But okay, why do you use Trollhelm then? Let's see. Okay, so we're studying Orc's Hair, Cat Gold, Strawdoll, Lady's Mantle, Horrible Knot, Cattail Head, Ladybug, Dandelion, Cone Cow. Total of 4,217 points coming our way. We have 4,664 points available. So what can we buy with that? I think we should definitely buy Yeomanry. Set up a little claim. That's 4,000. Jeez, that's expensive. Is there anything else we want before we go and buy that? I don't think these other things are particularly important. I think setting up a claim is probably going to be our best priority here. I think we just buy Yeomanry and actually see if we can build a claim already. What do we need? Let's get some dreams. Got one dream. How many do I need? Do I need like 2? Field Honors asks or says those stat helms are easier to mass produce and are as effective as 3 to 4 guild hats that can always fail along the way. Okay, but if you're telling me that there is a meaningful choice to be made between a top tier helm relative to a top tier gilded hat, then perhaps that is a good place where we should be. Poisoned Pork Chop asks, Bruderbona, do you like to gamble? Fun story, true story. The only time I've ever gambled about any sort of serious money was I put like 5,000 Swedish on Donald Trump being president. The odds were like 4 to 1, in his disfavor, so to speak. So that seemed eminently playable to me. So I played that and won. And that's the only time I've ever gambled about any sort of serious amount of money. So no, I do not like. Yes, Make America Great Again. I was, I wasn't certain that he was going to win, but it seemed like good enough. And I really wanted him to win because, liberal tears and all that. So, yeah. There was that. One of us. Yes, we're all a bunch of retarded peas in the pod. Let's see. Let's get some. Oh God, Jorb. Oh God. Oh God, man. The point here was not that I think that Donald Trump is a great president. I think he's a very vulgar little man, and in the realm of sanity, it absolutely amazes me how anyone could ever vote for a man like this, or desire him as their leader or whatever, because he is just a vulgar little man and or big man, and he screams and shouts and he's just rude and nasty, blah 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 blah. Also, it doesn't matter who's the president of the United States of America, because the deep state of the United States of America doesn't change. So the CIA, for example, is not up for election. So it doesn't matter much. So from the perspective of a freak show, I could certainly see why you would vote for him. But in the same, it's crazy. There's so many perspectives you could have on that whole mess. That one thing I would say as a legitimate thing is that I knew from the get-go that having Donald Trump being the president would be more comedy than having Hillary, because she's just wicked and mean and nasty. So. And how anyone could ever vote for the Clintons after the previous Clinton administration being constantly wrecked with scandal, and these people, what was it, the Clintons are so deep in just the shit that words can't express. So how anyone could ever vote for the Clintons is just beyond me. I guess they kill you if you don't vote for them. So. Tiger LRG 245. Please choose better names, people. Names that I can pronounce with ease. How will domesticated wild goats be different than sheep, if at all? That's a good question. One of the things that we want to do is make it so that they have their own cheeses. Goat cheese is one of the things that we would like to do for goats. So that's certainly one point of differentiation. But other than that, I suppose they should honestly have similar produce as sheep do. Arguably, we should give them their own wool type and their own cloth type. That would make them distinct. Yeah, we have some upcoming work on cheese coming. Blah blah blah. I'm always adding food buffs to various mixed cheese types, and perhaps making a unique category of cheese which is actually mixed cheese, and then we apply food buffs to them proportional to which type of milk was used to produce the mixed cheese curd. You following? That would be kind of cool. It's one of the things we want to do. Nerevar asks, by the way, on which stage is Haven and Hearth right now? Is this still alpha? The alpha, sir, is perpetual. We are always in alpha. Have no ambition to move away from that. Amanda says, yay on the goat cheese, and yeah, they should have their own wool we can make clothes from. Yes, good, then we are agreed. Amanda and I are agreed. Hey, we got a lot of wishbones here. I could use those for studying purposes, but that would require... one of the things we should be doing is, getting our bone glue on to build a study desk. Just gather up all the bone glue and build a study desk. One of the things we should do. Nevar says, still better and more playable than DayZ, sir. Thank you. DayZ is actually one of those games that I've been meaning or wanting to try, I think. That's a zombie survival shooter game, right? It seemed kind of cool. But I guess I'm like 5 years late to the party or whatever, as usual. I'm completely out of the loop when it comes to new computer games. Sadly, I don't know where the kids get their news. I don't know where should I read if I want to know about new computer games. Tell me, inform me, chat. Donatukas 1994 asks, has Jorb or Loftar watched anime or read manga? Yes, of course. We live and it is the year 2018, so Jap Factory has not completely escaped us. And Loftar is actually a huge fan, as in he watches a lot of anime. I'm not as big into it, but there are certainly anime shows that I enjoy and that I like. I liked Berserk, really liked that one. I liked there are more that escape me, but one of the films that was really formative to my youth, and one of the films that I really watched over and over again when I was a kid was Arcadia of my youth, Captain Harlock. It was a great movie. Still love that. I would honestly mark that down for not just top 5 anime or whatever, but top 5 movies of all time. It's one of the best movies ever made. Captain Harlock, Arcadia of my youth. Um, it's just a beautiful, beautiful movie. Love it to death. Where was I? Yeah, of course, Miyazaki. Definitely, all of Miyazaki's stuff is great. I love that. You know, in My Neighbor Totoro and all that good stuff. Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away, of course. It's a great movie. Great movies, all of them. Mopsy Pacey asked, which Berserk? First season with old graphics? It's I think so. Not sure. I wasn't aware that there were several versions of that. Oh, I've been nagging about Captain Harlock before. Yeah. I suppose I got the anime question before as well, now that I think about it. And I probably gave the same answer because I answered truthfully. What are we doing? We were building a claim. We need stones. Here are stones. We shall chip them. Jordan Coles asks, do me a favor and give yourself 20k charisma and then do one quest. It's tempting as that is, Jordan Coles. We may run like we're still on the quest that we got last time, which means go greet Gribosk and go wave to Autismilda. We're gonna go wave to Autismilda, and we may do that. Is there any point to extending these before they're set? Probably not, right? You're just gonna go and bash them, so we'll probably wait. Let's see, where were we? Brewer Bonnie, you visit the community fair at the stream? Not this particular one, but maybe next time. I think that could be a fair thing for Rombam Bombam Bump to engage in, and is to eventually make his way to the community fair and trade all of his, I don't know, ants for golden quill shekels of the fair. Yeah, should do something cooler. This is pretty boring, even though informative. If you think it's boring, sir, you can turn it off. Kidding. Alright, so blueberries, chanterelles, some foraging, and got some more nonsense down here. Let's see, Mopsy Pacey, did you play Morrowind? Did I? Of course I played Morrowind. I played a ton of Morrowind. There's like Bethesda owes me one summer of my life where I did nothing but play Morrowind. It was not the worst summer of my life, I would imagine. Loved Morrowind to death. Beautiful game, beautiful world, beautiful setting. Easily the best Elder Scrolls game, though I shall readily admit that I have not played Elder Scrolls 1 and 2. So, didn't know about this. Visit the ruins of Aurora. That's actually a good idea if I knew an efficient way of getting there. Talkmix asks, any plans on making the caves underground more interesting? Yes. I have an ongoing project, which I tend to think of as, let's see if we can do this any better than we did last time. Alright, chin up. You have that going. What am I missing here? Why am I taking so much damage? Probably should defend, huh? Try to do some defensive maneuvers. But yeah, as goes, as we were talking about underground nonsense, Mad Lad fighting ants and getting his ass handed to him. I'm defending, it doesn't do much. Yep. Hey! Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest. Where were we? Why do you hate miners? I don't hate miners. But yeah, a project that we have going on called the militarization of the underworld. Basically, I want to add just more nasty, evil things to be encountered in the underworld. Giant spiders, for example, is something that comes up from time to time. And that's something that I would not be opposed to adding. Not sure how full retard one would want to go in that case with, spider silk and Ardance TV. I don't hate miners, but we're working on a project to add more things to kill miners. Well, isn't part of the fun in mining encountering things? Mole people. New race dogmen confirmed. Troll waits a couple of seconds, but slimes gangbang you instantly, says HerpDerp03. Well, arguably, perhaps something should be done about that. But then again, isn't there a case to be made that some of the fun in mining lies in being ambushed by evil, mean things? I also honestly think that one of the points to adding, some surprises like that to mining is, and this is not the chief argument for it, but an additional argument is that it at least throws a bit of a wrench into anyone, just mass botting mining. Just anyone who puts a bot to just mine 24/7, at least he's going to have to write some additional algorithms and functions to deal with the various shenanigans that can occur to a miner. And I think that's, perhaps not the main point I would make in life, but I think it can be made. Early world mining, says Jordan Colsey, with low armor class will be broken beyond belief. Telling you right now. Jordan Colsey, why will it be broken beyond belief? Please tell me. Why will it not just be slightly broken? Why will it not just be problematic? But in fact, it will be broken beyond belief. Please explain. One memer says, add evil farm spirits that do something similar to slimes. I like that. One thing that I have thought about farming is that farming should have, I think, an equivalent to gems in terms of like a rich reward that you can get for farming. A rich and very, useful and highly sought after blah 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 thing that you should get. And that I can get behind. But I think, random, spooks jumping out at you while you're farming, that sounds a bit too, unrealistic for my tastes. Also, I think there's a good case to be made that the more fantastical creatures should be located in the underworld, more so than in the above world. I kind of like containing, crazy beavers and such to dungeons and to the underworld, whereas the above ground is safer. Or more, normal, less crazy. Let's see. Did Jordan Coles explain himself? Yeah, you will be instantly KO'd because 67 slimes will spawn in on top of you and hit at once. Well, do slimes spawn on the first cave level? I think not, right? Or maybe they do, actually. Maybe they do actually spawn on the first level as well. I should probably look at that in that case. But then again, I don't necessarily mind it a bit if mining gets slowed down a little bit. That could be fine. Yeah, slimes do spawn on first level. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Exactly, rarely and in smaller numbers. That's probably accurate. Like, how often do you encounter slimes when you mine on level 1? It's definitely not every tile, at least. Let's see, are we studying everything that we can? No, we're not. We could use another cone cow. More dangerous, so more rewards in caves. Yeah, I mean, adding new creatures is always kind of a two-edged sword. I mean, on the one hand, you add a new problem, but on the other hand, you add new resources and such as well. So, whenever you add a new creature, I kind of feel that you add a new reward as well, because creatures are content, are fun things, are rewards, are resources that you can use to presumably develop your character, blah, blah, blah. So there's that perspective. There we go, some cones. Norster 126 suggests add lava demons at level 5. Or like lava demons at level 10. Kind of tempted to make it so that you can dig down further. I don't know what the opposite of sky is the limit is, but I don't know. Final turtle is the limit on how far down you could dig. So wouldn't be opposed to increasing the amount of cave levels. Currently you can dig down 5 cave levels. We could make it so that there could be like a bunch. Herpderp03, please add melee moves for pickaxe. This way we miners could deal with slime. Yes, that's an observation that I've made myself while mining, is that it would be really neato if... Oh, I'm not in a fair realm. No, oh, right. The realm border is right here. Oh, what do you know? Okay, so it's Dees on both sides. Sloppy claiming here, Dees. Step up the game. This is like a tiny sliver here of my base where I'm not covered by the realm claim. That's fantastic. Let's see. What did I miss here? Yeah, Ike Dragon was also posting on the pickaxe ass weapon. I think that's a good idea. Little John 531 says new ores, metals, level of the mines confirmed. Definitely would not mind adding mithril. Bit fantastical, but I think it could be cool to have a really high end. What completed? What did I finish studying? Can't remember. I wouldn't mind that. But see, I think I can level up my intelligence. Make it so that I can actually study that thing. That was not the intelligence I wanted. There we go. Now we have 29. I still need one more point of intelligence before I can put that thing on. And I just ate all the blueberries. Hey, no, boo. Okay, we're gonna have to wait on the chicken bone. Probably go study some more. But also Mercury is on my to-do list. We actually already have an ore for Mercury in Cinnabar. Cinnabar was when we added we did so with the explicit intention of at some point adding Mercury. And I think Mercury could be useful for a lot of things. Obviously, you've all heard the expression "mad as a hatter." Back in the days, this is 19th century technology, I do think, but perhaps we could, find some way around that. A wizard did it, etc. Find some excuse for having this mechanic in the game. Anyway, is hatting. We could somehow make it so that Mercury is relevant, say when slotting hats or something to that effect, and thus we could introduce interesting new wounds from mercury poisoning and all that good stuff. while at the same time obviously then making cinnabar smeltable. Would also like it then if you receive a small amount of mercury poisoning whenever you mine out cinnabar, or whenever you come into contact with cinnabar, or really having anything to do with it would just instantly mercury poisoning you. The wound never heals. Bioaccumulative as mercury is. Sky is the limit on the mean things we could do with mercury poisoning. Let's go fish some more, and let's turn off the stupid round claim display. How do you like the cattails, by the way? Pretty noobish, but I found them to be pretty useful now that I am a noob. Questions. Can you add a recipe for Tide Pods so I can eat them? Yeah, the Tide Pod meme was like probably the stupidest meme of 2017, right? I listened to a podcast where someone claimed to have gone over toxicological reports. Not sure if this is true, but which basically, no one had actually eaten Tide Pods. Like, no one had actually been that stupid, apart from like a couple of kids, like as in small children who presumably weren't doing it for the Tide Pod challenge, and like demented elderly. Those were the only like toxicity reports, according to this podcast that I listened to. Podcast. That's fun. Tide Podcast. Yeah. But anyway, they basically called bullshit on the whole thing, and basically said that no one had ever eaten a Tide Pod ever, like, intentionally as a part of the challenge. Poison Pork Chop, are you planning to go to the community fair at some point? Yeah, well, yes, Poison Pork Chop, most certainly. I guarantee you that we won't be doing it this stream, but I also guarantee you that we'll do it next stream. I promise. Next stream we'll go to the community fair. We'll make a date out of it. Uncle Ish says, you own home or rent? Actually, I rent. The Swedish housing market is really out of whack, has been for several years. I've been calling it a bubble for several years. I've been wrong for several years, but it just refuses to collapse, and I refuse to buy. So basically, the prices, especially in Stockholm where I live, are just not of this world, really. So, but hey, at least the stock markets have been kind of shaky at the beginning of the year here, so maybe we're finally heading into the real crash, right? A boy can dream. Cattail head. Oh, that was what I was saying earlier. So I'm renting. Not too happy about that because I'm paying out of my nose to do that, but also don't want to put the money down to buy something. So it's really a rock and a hard place. Kind of contemplating if anything moving away from Stockholm could be an option, but I don't know. It's a tough issue. Also, I love where I live now, so that's it. Let's see. Tiger LRG 245 says, sorry for my retarded name again. This is okay. I'm sure that's your screen name. I don't mean to diss your screen name, sir. But will there be more uses for cattail head and roots? Yes, arguably there should be. We just kind of implemented them in a bit of a jiffy, and didn't really have time to really think it through. We just added like strain curiosity food. We didn't really invest more in it. But obviously I see before me that combination of cattail nonsense and fish would be a useful thing to have. Let's see. Dungeons, yeah, I think we should definitely underground dungeons would be awesome. I've been noticing on my normal character that I've been more keen than usual since we added beaver dams to go out, and I've actually taken out like 2 or 3 beaver dams by now. I'm sure that's not much of an accomplishment to all of you, but it was a fair bit of an accomplishment to me. So yeah, I had a bit of fun with that. And I've actually, where I was going was, I've noticed that I've had an increased, interest in going outside of my base. So I've been going to, the local wonders and whatnot to collect them, and meanwhile keeping a steady lookout for beaver dams. And yeah, I've enjoyed that, and I would love it if we could do something similar for the underworld, so that you could actually explore the underworld and find dungeons similarly there. Norster126 asks, you play solo in your main? Yes, I do. Arguably, there's been an argument for several worlds now that I should probably join a village at some point to get a taste of village life, but it's never really materialized. Last world I came kind of close to forming a village with some of my neighbors there, but it kind of fell apart. Also, I don't really, I don't have time to lead a village myself. I play kind of sporadically, and and I can't be known as a developer when I'm playing, so blah blah blah. Excuses. That's all I hear. Herpderp03 asks, you bought something on Community Fair with your main? Of course, I bought a ton of things, both at Aurora, while that marketplace was still available, and at the Community Fair. I bought things at both places. Can also recommend the underground market Moss Turnip. I bought a fair amount of things at Moss Turnip as well. So if you're familiar with Moss Turnip, or are in fact person behind Moss Turnip, then here's a shout out to you. Love Moss Turnip. Bought a ton of things there. So let's see. Little John 531 asks, did you think about adding something for better hauling items, like wagons for stockpiles? Mining cart is bigger. I've had the request previously. It's not something that, there are wheelbarrows. I haven't really felt the need myself, but I have considered making like a sack or whatever that you could use to kind of quickly or semi-quickly or bundle up a stockpile, and then you could presumably store the sack itself in a moving container, moving thingamajig. So, Amanda H&H, you've done a beaver dungeon solo? ? Also, come join my village. It's nice and friendly in my area, and I live near Community Fair. Yes, Amanda, I have done a beaver dungeon solo. Not in one go, mind you, but grinding it down over a couple of health meters and days. Yes, I've soloed let's build a little fence here to stake our claim. Keep the bad guys out. Note to noobs, this keeps no one out, so don't count on it for safety. Tanaka Atsuko asks, would it be possible to consider item signatures on crafted items? Yes, that would certainly be possible to consider. I'm just not, I don't know, it feels like there has to be some sort of reason why we have never acted on that, despite that being like a very frequent request. Now that I'm a bit mindful of for some reason I'm somewhat skeptical of it. I'm not entirely sure why. I have, some intrinsic skepticism about it. I mean, it would be kind of cool if you could write things on items and, just randomly, carve something onto an item made by Jorb or whatever. It would be kind of fun when you... Though, to be fair, all the in-game messages that I ever find in the game are absolutely inane and retarded. Like, every runestone I've ever read has been just stupid, and so I have no expectation. Hay muchas rocas de aquí. I'm not sure what rocas is. Maybe someone could translate that for me. It was Spanish, at least. That was not every day you see Spanish in the game. Rocas are... of course, rocks. There are stones, quite simple. Yeah, okay, I get it. let's see. So many questions. Days for a dungeon. Does the despawn timer stop when you exit them? Days for a dungeon? You mean as in how many days does it take me to do a dungeon? That obviously depends on the dungeon. I mean, some of the rooms are really, really a pain in the ass, like the rooms which continuously spawn beavers until you kill all the beavers at one point, or at one time. I've gotten past like 4 or 5 rooms like that, and I can do those if provided they have like at least one spawn point for the non-white beavers and the grizzly beavers or even normal beavers. I can kind of get through them if I set it up correctly and first kill all the white beavers and then assemble a mess of grizzly beavers, a little furry ball running after you, and then you kind of have to dash away all the openings, blah blah. Okay, so that was not what you were asking, Jordan Coles, but instead Jordan Coles was asking, no, like dungeons collapse if you're in there too long, don't they? Or is it only after you kill the boss? I had the entire dungeon delete itself with me inside, lol. They only despawn if the boss has been killed. So they only despawn when the king dies. Presently, we may change that in the future. Unpristine asks, how does the difficulty scaling for dungeons work? Is it first person to enter, or does it scale after the highest status person in the dungeon? Unpristine, it's actually random, so it doesn't scale after anyone. There's no level scaling involved. It's actually completely random. So we went back and forth on that. We considered whether we should try to balance it after who got in, blah 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 blah. We figured at least for the first dungeon it could be simpler, more straightforward, easier to just make it a random dungeon and see what that does. See if we can find them in usually large hop cone. I recently completed on my main character. I completed the Farmer's Credo, and it was interesting. It's got several quests to like plant 50 hop cones and whatever, and the pain involved in traversing the world looking for hop cones in abandoned bases to harvest and all that. But I got my cupboard full of in the process of unusually large hop cones. So Azrid Rose Online asks, does the dungeon XP event damage bonus stack? I've gotten it twice now. No, it does not. You can only get it once, or meaningfully get it once. After that, it's just a normal experience, so it doesn't stack. Thank God, it would be crazy otherwise. Amanda Agent H says, ha, wait until you get on to Mystic, that's pain. Amanda Agent H, sweetie, I completed Mystic a long time ago. I've done Mystic and I've done Cave Hermit, so please, don't bring your Mystic up in here, lady. Got that done months ago. Let's see. Herb defeat a beaver does not work in dungeon. It probably doesn't. It probably asks you to defeat a normal standardized beaver 1.0 quite simply, and doesn't count the more advanced beavers that you can encounter in the dungeon. World reset when you get all the credos done, says Mr. Softner. I actually have no expectation of actually completing all the credos. I'm like in the top, I think I'm in the top 20 players in terms of having amount of credos acquired, so that's something. At least I register on the kind of, I used to at least, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I was in the top-ish for quite some time. Which is at least somewhat comforting to know that, the fact that I am able to play at least a significant amount of time does mean something, even relative to all you nerds who play it on a much higher level than I could ever hope to. Let's see, what questions do we have? Blacksmith Greedo. Yeah, I haven't done blacksmith yet, so suppose that could be a pain. How about, so asks Mr. Softener, otherworldly mystical foods in the underworld, like cave potatoes and chocolate? Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm actually not at all opposed to cave farming down the road. Could do that kind of Dwarf Fortress style, with plump helmets and cave wheat. Could consider it. Let's see. More questions. Thoughts on let's see. One memer asks, thoughts on ranged weapons shooting through over solid objects, i.e. walls, maybe lockdown. Yeah, not sure. One memer, what to think about that with ranged weapons. Actually, I guess there could be tiers like of ranged weapons, and tiers in terms of walls that you could shoot over with certain weapons, but not with others, or perhaps with certain, like a credo or some skill or something. But I also have to say that like shooting over walls seems like there are a couple of retarded incentives involved in that. For one, like, okay, so you can shoot over walls. Now you have to build all walls, have to have like a perimeter on the inside, which is at least one rendering screen wide, so as to prevent anyone from actually seeing you when you are inside your walled compound and just shooting you down, killing you with a bow. Incentives like that seem a bit off to me. So there are certainly things to consider about that. Let's see. ST Svols asks, top lists on main site. I would actually love to do top lists on the main site. I know Salem has had leaderboards for some time, and I think it's kind of cool. But I also think that, in all honesty, I don't think it fits Haven. I kind of like the fact that in Haven you have this sense of mystery, and that you don't always know everything about the world, or, oh, here's a friendly acquaintance come to visit us. Hello, friendly acquaintance, come to visit us. Welcome to the farm. Of course. Hey, hello, hey. Let's see if we can do the dance as well. Yep, we can certainly do the dance. I think this is the best best emote that I've added ever, is the step dance. You notice the double entendre funny in step dance, and that it's a Cossack dance, and the Cossacks are kind of from the steppes, and there's also step as in stepping, that's pretty fun. Let's see, crossbow. Can we get more beer types so I can roleplay a brewery? Maybe something like the cheese system and complexity. That would actually be funny if northeast of here, you tell me. Far? Is it far? 3 grids. Okay. 3. What do you mean grids? Like, do you mean minimap grids, or whatever in between? Okay, let's if you show the way, dear friend, I guess we can go try to have a look at the community fair. But before we do that, I'm going to dump my yank, and then I need to build a hearth fire, because my hearth fire is actually not here. How can there not be a drain in that? Let's see. Ba-ba-da-bum. That's actually true. Uncle Ish says that I thought you'd guarantee it wouldn't happen on this. Well, maybe I changed my mind. Maybe I changed my mind. Maybe I changed my mind again. Maybe we're going to the community fair. We can go to the community fair. Let's. No, actually, I want to do it next time. We'll do a proper community fair showdown next time. There's not that much time left to play with, so kind of. We'll go there next time. Promise. Pinky's where. But for now, I just want to work on my little nonsensical village. All right, thank you. Wow, Traveler Sack and gold, sir. Thank you, much obliged. We got a bunch of golden quills here, and let's see if we can. How do we do the bow and present? Thank you, sir. Much obliged for the wonderful gold and the Traveler Sack that we got here. So the Traveler Sack, for those of you who are not in the know, increases your inventory size. That was very kind of a person. Okay, we changed our minds again. Eve, take us to the community fair. Go to the community fair, Eve's darling, and I will follow you. Let's go CF. I'll tag along quite simply. James 12. While we go to the community fair, despite me promising that we wouldn't. Hey, what to ask about seasons in the game? It's something that's planned around the way. Seasons is kind of a big ticket thing that we've had on our to-do / want-to-do list for a very long time. So seasons will definitely happen. It's actually in the original vision for the game. Harsh winters were a thing that's a thing in Unreal World, which was one of the kind of main inspirations for Haven. And harsh winter is definitely a theme in that game, so that's something that I wanted in Haven as well. So yeah, we're definitely going to do that at one point or another. The question is, it's an involved thing to do. It requires a lot, both server side and client side, in terms of having the entire world change appearance basically, and it would require more of our tree model. Trees would need to be have a more consistent and thought through setup in terms of their layers and graphic resources and whatnot, in terms of turning off the leaves separately and having the branches still there, and maybe add snow to the branches and all that nonsense. So a lot of things like that to consider, but follow. Yeah. Other than that, I'd love to do it. I mean, could hopefully do a lot with it. Jordan Cozy asks or says, please give us firefly lanterns that you can fill and place on signposts for dim light. Yeah, I've been meaning to add firefly lanterns. We're definitely going to do that. Could just be like a glass jar or something. It would be, one of the mechanics from A Link to the Past that I've been wanting to kind of replicate would be to, let's see, all right, travel along community fair. Am I going to get ganked now, the second I land here? Yeah. Hello? Good old Pathfinder. Alright, here we are, the community fair. Okay, so the community fair, for those of you who are not aware, is the perhaps largest player-built comp. Thank you so much, Eve, for showing me the way to the community fair. Hello, everyone. Hello, guten Tag. Sehr gut, Ihnen zu sehen. The community fair is the largest, perhaps most impressive Aurora isn't around anymore, so there's no competition, is there? Maybe that's saying a lot. I don't. Scratchy of Hedgehogs is requesting your oath of allegiance. No, you can't get my oath of allegiance. How do I gamble? Show me where I can gamble away all my golden quills. Amanda H&H says, you can buy a nice pearl necklace if you visit my stall. Guten Tag, mein Kamerad. Ich hatte einen Kameraden, einen besser findest du nicht. Alright, so this is one of the big player-driven setup markets, and it's really amazing. I'm really in awe of what you guys have accomplished here in the fair, and here's everyone. This is going to be interesting to see how my client lags the shit out now that I have so many players on my screen. This is one of the things that we're hoping to address with the hello everyone. Wow, what a nice hello everyone. What a nice welcoming committee here. Hello. So this is one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen built in Haven, and I think it's arguably the coolest thing several worlds, or like ever, basically. It's a huge player-driven town with a market and events, and as you can see, there are the bunch of stalls here that you can buy all kinds of nonsense, and there we go. Use the word nonsense again. Jeez, you can buy metal axe quality 780.5. To be fair, at an exorbitant amount of quills required for that, but nevertheless, goodness, you should definitely consider metal spiraling. No, they've drawn me here just to autistically clap. Let's do I hope the noises. I can't hear anything myself. I have the sound turned off here, so let's do the dance. I love seeing so many Hearthlings in the same place, though. It's really, you can do a lot with the looks, and I'm actually kind of happy to see so many different looks as well. It's kind of fun that at least someone has found it. Dev suck. Oh, he's made a for Dev suck sign here. No, I don't want to join any parties. I'm stuck between a rock and hard place. Arguably, Hearthlings should be able to push other Hearthlings away. Bootleg protest sign. Yeah, that's definitely what you have there, sir. So where was the gambling I heard so much about? And my computer is actually handling this better than I thought. It's, definitely down in FPS, but I am getting by at least. It's not ground to a complete halt yet. Gambling this way. Let's go check it out, y'all. No, have the whole squad after me here. James 12 says, about seasons again, is your ideas about shifting seasons involving having to store food for winter because nothing can grow? It would at least, I'm not sure, storing food for winter, and I'm not sure how effective that is, type of survival mechanic is actually going to be. Okay, so this is where you gamble. This is the lottery here. What can I buy then? Oh, I can buy empty leather purses for 1 golden quill. Or no. Am I buying gold coins with purses? What's going on? Okay, here I can buy purses. Okay, so I can buy purses. I can buy a purse for 25 or a purse for 100. I don't have 100, so I guess I buy a purse for 25. Are you excited to see what I got? How excited are you to see what I got? How much do you think I got in my leather purse here? Kind of happy to have a purse at least for all my gold. Let's see. Oh, right one? Was I supposed to? Oh, shit. I can't. That land is owned by the community fair. QQ. I wanted all the gold. You see, my instinct was just immediately just grab the shekels. Saw the shekels, went for them. No shame. Game of dice. Bet from 1 to 50 gold and win 2. Check for rules inside the middle chest. Afraid, sir, I can't use any of the chests. So there's that. Oh no, I'm blocked by the king. It's even throwing shekels at me. Okay, so here I can pick them up apparently. Wait, is it different permissions there? Oh, is that a bot? Is that a bot manning the stall? That's awesome. See, here's the reason why I think it's kind of like people are so very against bots, but like here, for example, placing a bot as an NPC, that strikes me as a perfectly legitimate, usable bot. I don't mind that at all, actually. It's actually kind of cool. Now all the horses are dancing because someone... oh god, I don't actually have my FPS counter on. I don't remember the... there's a client command for displaying it, but I don't remember it. So I don't actually know how many FPS I have. But, you know, you can probably tell somewhat from... I mean, it's not much, but it's not 0 either. So... try the chest again. It's a bit laggy. Okay. Stand aside, people. We're trying the chest again. I'm sorry, I just can't get to them. You're gambling. Rolling a die. How am I gambling 29 coins? I'm not gambling anything. You won. Congrats. Okay. Awesome. Ah, there we go. Oh. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. Getting there. Getting there. Alright, alright, alright. Now let's see here. Place your bet in a small wooden chest ranging from 1 golden quill to 50 golden quills. Then the dice will then be rolled in the large chest. Okay, so let's see here. I place 30 golden quills, sir. Sure. You're gambling 30 coins. Most certainly am, sir. 1, 2, 3, you lose. 4, you get your money back. Okay. Did I get my money back, or what? Too many peeps. Okay. No, that's not actually a bot. Sorry. Altiok asks, is an NPC controlling system something being considered? I have considered it, yes. Kind of along the lines of if you can't beat them, join them thing. Laser says Pew asks, will seasons have floating queue nodes? We've actually considered a conflux mechanic, we call it. And the idea would be that, like, every so often, ideally dependent on some in-game factor, like how much you've sacrificed to the ancestors or some nonsense like that. Okay, so we're trying the gambling again. So every so often, the game would re-roll all quality nodes. Like, say this happens every 3rd month or so. Game would re-roll all quality nodes, move a couple of wonders around, and extend the map. And that would be a conflux event. That's something that we've considered. Doing something like that automatically. Hey, this is working out swell. I'm just winning all day. I'm betting 40 coins right there. Oh wow, this is what H&H looks like now. Yeah, Ignacio Cabron, it most certainly is. Ha! Did I win again? No? What's happening? I have no idea. Am I winning or losing? So that's something that we've considered for in terms of moving the quality nodes. I think that could have a bit of, you know, a bit of the best of both worlds thing, where we could have because one thing that I like about static quality nodes is that you can find a reliable quality node and, you know, extract profit from that, you know, recurringly, etc., etc. And if we had that and also kind of randomize the nodes around every so often, then we could have, you know, a bit of best of both worlds. Okay. Oh, better luck next time. Roll the 3. All right. All right. Hi guys. I'm gonna teleport right on back home now because there's too much going on here. But it was really nice to have such a warm, welcoming crew here at the community fair. It's also nice to try out the gambling. I will. Oh yeah, open the purse. Let's see what we got. We got 5 gold golds right in the purse. Sanix asks, will we be able to get drunk and add mead? Yes, mead will be added as soon as I'm more happy with how drinks work. Alright, ta-ta kids, my dork is heading home now. Wow, that was awesome. Glad we went there, right? It was really sweet checking out the community fair. Let's make that a stream event from now on. Let's end every stream on a high note of heading over to the community fair. Especially now that we kind of know. It's over here somewhere. Don't remember exactly, but I'm sure someone can come show us. So, yeah, we've been going for almost 2 hours now. It's 9 minutes short of 2 hours, so I suppose that we should, on that note, Ignacio Cabron does not like the idea of re-rolling high-quality resources. Yeah, sure, I see your point that you would then lose your high-quality nodes, but to be fair, everyone else would too, which I think could kind of make it a bit more palatable, because I think that, you know, you would also gain high-quality nodes. What I think is somewhat retarded is, like, for example, the high factions establish claims over the high-quality mammoth nodes, for example, where the high-quality mammoth spawns. And then from there on out, they control those for the rest of the, you know, lifespan of that server. You know, I think preferable to that could be like re-rolling the qualities every 3 months or so. That way, you know, you could still establish a claim and control them meaningfully for some amount of time, but perhaps not, you know, indefinitely forever. Yeah. Azrid rose on. Can you add coin purses for 1,000 gold coins so I can buy tokens? Could definitely add larger purses. Should definitely do that. More differentiated purses should be great. Some more questions here. And Altiok asks, in an ideal world, should groups of players be able to opt out of conflict, as in playing solo? Can't initiate fights, can't be fought kind of thing? No, I don't think so. I think in an ideal world, everyone is integrated into the same playing experience and part of it. No, I don't think so. Romanos asks, will you buy something with those golden quills and thus support the CF economy? Yes, definitely, at some point. No promise of when or what. I'll keep them in my little purse for now. He's a good friend of mine. Is he gonna attack me? No, he's gonna drop. I don't want to wear too. This is great, sir. Thank you for the wings. I don't want to wear too like high, fancy quality gear, but thank you. I'll wear the wings for now. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's see. What do you think about people claiming quest essential landmarks? No real opinion on that. I think one of the reasons we made them claimable was so that people would be able to fight over them. Jordan Colsey asks, can you make it so that when you right-click a rope, you'd get a flower menu to unleash your horse? Yes, Jordan Coles, that's something that we're going to look to do. Little John 531 asks, you thinking about some world events like End of the World? I'm not thinking about ending the world, but world events, maybe I don't really have time to dungeon master them, but on a regular basis at least. Jordan, Uncle Ish asks, ever will bring back old hats to shop, or you like that some hat is unobtainable now? Torn on that. I'm not promising that we'll never bring anything back, but I also kind of like that some of the hats are rare and have a good secondhand market. I like that because that kind of means that we can justify our prices and blah blah blah. So I like the scarcity in that. I also think that while we necessarily shouldn't perhaps not bring things back, we could make, instead of bringing things back, we could make new takes on old hats. For example, we could, if we wanted to make a new pirate's hat, we could make Captain Blood's pirate hat or whatever, or the Red Witch hat or whatever. So that I could see doing. Mr. Softener asks, how about wandering ghosts that can phase through walls, be quest givers? That could be fun. I definitely see doing various things with, the undead spirits of various hearthlings. Like Rusalkas has been a thing that I've been wanting to do for like forever. So Rusalkas could be like from Drowned. It was a creature from Slavic mythology. Like drowned people could turn into Rusalkas. World bosses like dragons, water snakes, similar to Jormungand. That would be really cool. Field honor. This game needs Credo Slacker and Joker. Could not agree more. What about 1 year sale where all previous hats are available for a short time? Maybe. If this is planned, I would like it if it is announced ahead of time when a hat will leave store, so I have a last chance for buy. Well, I think kind of the point is that you should buy them when they come out. That way, you're sure to get them. I think us kind of removing one semi-randomly every now and then is a perfectly fine and fair way of keeping the rotation going. And what do you know? Ample time for us to throw on a cone cow and a wishbone. Troll egg? Asks Mr. Softener. Troll egg what? What? Troll egg says what? Alright guys, 4 minutes until we've done a 2-hour thing. So I'm gonna wind it down now. Gonna call this a night. We accomplished, not much, but hey, Haven is you gotta take the long view of things when you're playing Haven. So we accomplished at least a little claim. Hopefully this will still be here in the morning. I'll check on it, try to extend it a little bit. And hopefully we can just keep building on this settlement and keep developing it. So if you find it, please don't do anything mean to it. I may defend it if you build something here, for example. Mr. Softener, tease for next week's update. We haven't really discussed what we're going to do, so no promises either way, but high on my list is the leash thing that Colsey was talking about. I.e., when you have something leashed on your rope, you should have a cute little icon for the animal indicating what type of animal you have leashed, and also the ability to right-click the leash to unleash the animal. I was very happy about the changes we made to leashing and such in the last patch, so wouldn't mind developing on that. Asrid Rose Online asks, favorite conspiracy theory? That depends, do you mean favorite conspiracy theory that is actually true, or favorite conspiracy theory in the sense of most quirky and interesting? What's his name? David Icke. He's always a blast to listen to. The moon is some kind of construct and reptilians and such. He's always fun to listen to. But I don't know, there's so many conspiracy theories that are real. So I suppose I would take one of them. Did you know, for example, that the Bolshevik Revolution was financed on Wall Street? You should definitely read Anthony Sutton's book. Anthony Sutton. I'll say that again. You should definitely read his book, Wall Street and the Bolshevik Revolution. Top recommendation. We may read from that. All right. Thank you guys for all the... Aki Dragon says, thank you for all the passion and interest in the game. H&H best game ever. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for tonight. It was a lot of fun. We're going to do another stream in March. The ambition is to do one each month. So thank you all. I think we peaked at around 140 people watching, which, with a short notice, seems like a great amount of people. So, yep. Thank you all for watching, and we're definitely going to bring Loftar on one day. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Stay gangsta, and love you all. Thank you all for playing Haven. Buy the hats. Check out the store. Like us on Facebook. follow us on Twitch, YouTube, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Ending on a high note. This was a lot of fun, guys. I will see you again in March, and hopefully we're going to upload this to YouTube, and yeah, you should be able to watch it again if you wish, or tell your friends to watch it, or whatever. With that, I'm going to log out with my dude. Love the new log out emote thing. Except you never get to see the actual finish when you log out yourself, but oh well. Small Timer says, safe travels. Safe travels indeed, sirs. Thank you so much for this. Much obliged. This was a lot of fun. I'll see you guys again in March. Keep playing. Keep, being the great, awesome people that you are. And much love from me to you. Stay safe, guys. Bye.